Welcome to my kitchen. I've had several requests for my juicy AF, or as Jim would say, Air Force chicken. AF's not for Air Force, Jim, but that's okay. And so I want to take a few minutes and I'm going to make Dana's and my dinner for tonight. Forgot my knife. Okay, so the recipe's very quick, very simple. It takes no time at all. I normally use about a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. As you can see, I measure very well. Now, Dana is lactose intolerant, so we can't use Greek yogurt, but 2% Greek yogurt works great. However, we're at the point that we can use the low-fat, lactose-free yogurt, so we want about a good tablespoon of that. Put it in. Now, if you want to do it correctly, you would actually squeeze lemons, but I don't squeeze lemons, so I want about 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, and I'll put this recipe down at the bottom after we're done. Not really measuring too precise on the lemon juice. This actually works the citrus in it to soften up, to tenderize the meat. From there, okay, this is gonna get crazy, guys. Minced garlic. As you can see, I go for the minced garlic in water. I don't mince the garlic myself. If you do, you're a better person than me, and it'll probably be a little bit better. But a pretty good tablespoon size of minced garlic. Okay, I prefer chicken that has more of a Middle Eastern flavor to it. So to get that, we're going to start with some cumin. And we're going to add about 2 teaspoons. I use a half teaspoon. I'll show you why here shortly. So for these, and I don't necessarily round them. I mean, I'm somewhere between 2.5 teaspoons of cumin. After cumin, I go with some coriander. I use a half teaspoon because my teaspoon won't make it in there, but this will. So we're going to use 1 teaspoon. Then from the coriander, then I go to cinnamon. Like I said, I aim for a Middle Eastern flavor. So with my cinnamon, well, my cinnamon's almost out, and I normally use about a half teaspoon. That's probably a half teaspoon. I'm gonna get some more cinnamon this afternoon, or Friday morning. Then I go with some smoked paprika. I use a lot of smoked paprika and stuff to the point that I buy it in bulk. But the smoked paprika, about a teaspoon. So this is a half teaspoon each time. So that's 2, and like I said, I like a little more. So somewhere between a teaspoon and a half of smoked paprika. Then we're going to go to turmeric, and I'm going to use a half teaspoon of turmeric. From there, you've pretty much completed your Middle Eastern spice, with one exception. Take it or leave it, saffron. I love saffron. I know it's pricey. Like I said, I love saffron, and I think it does give you that very good Middle Eastern flavor to it. So, depending on how long you're going to actually marinate, if you're going to marinate for a long time, I absolutely recommend saffron. If you're not going to marinate too long, then you can come or go. Lastly, salt and pepper. Now this is truly to taste. You know, I go pretty good on the pepper. And then the salt, I like using, you know, this is one of my favorite kosher salts, David. And I don't use a lot, but I give it a pretty good couple shakes. Now from here, wooden spatula, I just mix my ingredients together. All right, now at this point you could either do fillets, full fillets, and marinate. I like to cube it. Again, I'm going for that Middle Eastern kebab feel. And because of that, I buy 4 pounds of organic skinless chicken. chicken breast. I really like thigh meat. Dana's not a big thigh meat person, so we do go with the breast. And I do buy 4 pounds. And the reason why I get such a large one is because we're going to take all this out to the grill. We're going to grill the entire 4 pounds. And then the way with Dana's my meals, we can have lunch and dinner for about the next 3 nights, 3 days. I also cube it, and I cube it just to make it get off the grill a little quicker and so forth. So I rinse my meat. Some people say you don't have to. A nice knife, sharp knife works the best for you. Then like I said, I just cube it. And I throw it in my, my mixture. Once I've got this cubed to what I want, then I just basically just roll this here, and then I go for my next piece of chicken. I do cut the remnants of the skin off. You don't have to. They will they'll burn off on the grill pretty rapid. But we're just going to cube this. Then after we've cubed our meat and put it into the mixture, the marinade, we'll let it set for a couple of hours, and then we will come back and don't forget to fold it. We'll come back and we'll go out and I'll show you my very sophisticated grilling technique, and you'll know that there was a lot of joking in there because we do this and I don't do anything other than preheat the grill, take it back down to about 350. I do 4 minutes or 5 minutes on one side, rotate it, and then do another 4 minutes on the other side. And at that point in time, the chicken is done. It's extremely juicy, and it even reheats well over the next, like I said, we do this for 3 days, and it even reheats extremely well and still maintains the juiciness. So that makes it very nice for us. If you have any questions, you can always just throw those down at the bottom. Now, a little, to be fair, this isn't my homemade recipe. If you want a great recipe book that gives you a lot of recipes exactly like this one, then I highly recommend Fit Men Cookbook by Kevin Curry. This is a great, you can see I've worn the hell out of it. There's a lot of awesome recipes in there. It meets our macros, our diet, because you know my current mix of macros is I do 40% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 30% protein. As you can imagine, this meal is pretty good. You know, people ask me about how do I deal with the macros when I make something like this. So I know that I'm making 4 pounds of chicken. I think this one was 3.5 on the side from Wegmans. So I know that I'm making about 4 pounds of chicken. So then I just take and figure out how many servings, and my normal serving is 3 ounces. I figure out how many servings I expect to get out of this. I add all my ingredients up in MyFitnessPal because, you know, like the oil here, you know, it's got some olive oil that's got some good fat in it. The chicken's got it, you know, pretty much protein. Then I just figure that out, put it in MyFitnessPal, divide it out, and then I know what my macros are for this portion of my meal. So it's pretty easy. I can figure out, you know, what's my fat and protein per ounce. In MyFitnessPal, when I make my dinner tonight, I will just figure out how many ounces I'm taking, and it'll calculate. All right, so now I've got all the chicken together, and we're going to put it in the oven. I'm sorry, we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it marinate. It's now about 2:30. We're going to let this marinate for about 2 hours and come back at about 4:30 and cook it up on the grill. So until I see you again, be right back. All right, so our chicken is marinated now for about 2 hours. I just want to make one little correction. Earlier I said 6 minutes and 4 minutes. Actually, I typically go 6 minutes and 6 minutes, just because of the temperature and so forth. Sometimes I'll go a little shorter if I know that we're not going to be eating the chicken right off the grill, that we're going to be putting it in the fridge and then packaging it for our trips, and that's our meals. But so today it'll be 6 minutes and 6 minutes. So after I get the grill nice and hot, I drop the temperature down to about 350, something like that. And then I just throw my chicken breast onto the grill. Like I said, we're gonna cook this for about 6 minutes. As you can see, this is well marinated, beautiful looking chicken. The other thing I talked about earlier is my macros. So for this meal, for 3 ounces of chicken with the marinade, typically I get about 24 grams of protein. I get about 2 grams of carbohydrates and about 7 grams of fat, with the olive oil and that type of stuff as part of the marinade. So a 3-ounce serving of this would be about 167 calories. Now, the one thing that's neat in the MyFitnessPal, set your serving size. Don't do it as a serving. Just set it as an ounce. And that way you can measure it out when you're ready to eat. And if you've got like 3.5 ounces, you just put in 3.5 servings at 1 ounce. And that will help with your calculation, and instead of trying to figure out a normal serving is 3 ounces and you've got 2.9 and what percentage that is. So we're going to put this on. Got a little marinade left in the bottom. I like to just kind of scoop it up, especially some of the garlic. And if I see a couple pieces that really aren't 100%, I'll just do that. Shut the lid. Like I said, we're going to put this on for about 350 degrees, and we're going to cook it for 6 minutes. And I'm not going to touch it until the 6 minutes is up. So we'll come back in 6 minutes. Okay, so our 6 minutes is up. So ideally, you want to take chicken to 165 degrees to have it done. If you wanted to do this in the oven, I'd set the oven at 450. But ooh, looking good. All right, so now I just rotate my chicken. Try not to lose a piece. Now, different things to pair this with. Tonight, I'm going to have this with some Mexican cauliflower rice. I'll have some green beans. I'll have some beets. I may do a little asparagus and salad. That'll be the rest of my meal. For like I said, my macros are 40% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 30% protein. In order to get my 30% protein, I will probably have about 4 ounces of this chicken tonight. So that's a pretty good. That'd be about a breast and a half. Now, after we get this all flipped over, we will give it about another 6 minutes. Like I said, ideally you want to get it to about 165. Dana prefers her chicken a little more done than I do. She would do extremely well in the Middle East. She wants hers pretty close to being burnt. So chicken's looking good on the grill. It's all flipped. And we will do this again for about another 6 minutes, and we'll be back. All right, so our chicken's been cooking for about 6 more minutes, so total 12 minutes cook time. It stayed right around 350, 375. It's 50 degrees out, so the grill gets a little cold. I went ahead and brought a temperature gauge because I was just curious to see what's the temperature, and we'll grab one of the large ones and see what it does. 115, 130, 140, 150, 165. Looks like about 169. So chicken is done. All right, now I just don't fall. Stick around to the end of this, and I will I'll give you my four tips on how to properly, well, my four tips on things to do with chicken. So I'll get this together, get it in the house, and then we'll talk again. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen, and as you can see, the chicken looks fantastic. Good for dinner tonight. Okay, so I said I'd give you four quick tips, and the first thing is avoid overcooking it. Especially if you know, like Dan and I, we're gonna have a serving of this tonight, and then we're gonna have it on Tuesday, or I'm sorry, what's today? Today's Thursday. So we're gonna have it on Friday and Saturday. We're going to reheat this, and we're either going to reheat it in the microwave or on the stove. So if you overcook it right now, when you reheat it, it's going to be tremendously, there'll be no tenderness. So that's number one. Don't overcook it. If you got a slow cooker and you can do this for, use a slow cooker to cook your chicken for a couple hours, super juicy. But I don't do much slow cooking. Okay, so we try to buy enough chicken to last us for a week, and you can imagine if we're doing this at 4 pounds every 2 or 3 days, we have to buy a lot of chicken. So some of it we freeze. So the proper way to defrost frozen chicken is, what I do is I'll take it out of the fridge, and then we've got a freezer downstairs. I take it out of the freezer, I put it in the fridge, and I let it sit overnight and to thaw in the fridge. Then I'll take a plate, I'll put paper towels down, I'll set the chicken on top of that, and I'll let it now sit outside, out here on the counter, for about 30 minutes. Then I'll pat dry the chicken to make sure there's no moisture, no water left on it, and then I can chop it up and do this. The fourth thing is, I highly recommend that you chop the chicken up, because it does a couple things. Number one, it makes the chicken much easier to cook. Cubes cook better than breasts, because you might have a big fat part of the breast and everything else, thick part of the breast. So cubing it allows it to cook more thoroughly and quicker. Second, if I have to figure out, if I'm looking at my dinner and my macros are at the point that I have to have precisely 3.5 ounces, I can grab my scale that I always use, throw a plate on there, start throwing the chicken on, and then I can just move around cubes until I get to my 3.5, so it works. So that's my three things. Avoid overcooking, slow cook's great, properly defrost your chicken, and cut it into cubes. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm glad I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, the Fit Man Cookbook by Kevin Curry, if you're interested in this, it's going to be in the description below. There's also an affiliate link. If you click on that, I get a small, tiny commission on it. I'm also going to throw my smoked paprika that I get from Amazon, because I buy it in like a serious amount. I mean, if I go to Wegmans and buy just one of those little small canisters, it's like $9. I can actually buy a pound of smoked paprika on Amazon. like I said, I'll put the link down below. That's a fantastic way of, if you're going through something like that a lot. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you've got any questions, don't forget to comment. Fit Man Cook, Chuck's Tasty Air Force, Tasty AF Chicken. All right, thank you very much.